What's up, folks? What we're doing right now is I've seen several posts and I have had this same problem on mine. I use a Z01 jacking pad, uh, but this right here is a more permanent solution for the 2020 and up Ford Explorer. Mine's an ST model, but all the Ford Explorer jacking points should be the same. So I actually reached out to the company ZL1 add-ons by telephone and email, not asking for anything for free, just basically asking if I took some measurements under the car, would they be able to match me up to some of their leave-on jacking pads that go under the car. Well, they didn't respond to me either way, so I went on Amazon and I found these cheap ones that look exactly the same as ZL1 add-ons. So I'm thinking they are both for 2010 to 2014 Camaro. I know they're both for a Camaro, and I knew that because I had a ZL1, 2017 ZL1, and they were flat, and that's what I was looking for because after looking underneath it. So I got one that's a little longer set and one that's a low profile set. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try them on the jacking points on the car. What these do is they go onto the pinch weld of the vehicle, and you put them on the pinch weld and you tighten up the set screws and they stay on the vehicle. And then you put your jack on the bottom of this instead of on the pinch weld, and it saves your pinch weld. You got a flat surface here and it spreads the load out, keeps you from bending your pinch welds up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one set on one side and the shorter set on the other side, and we're going to kind of take a look at, you know, the differences and which one fits better. And then the other one's going to get returned because I bought them on Amazon. So just like with anything aftermarket, some slight modification may be required. They have this plastic piece here, and it's going to keep our lift point from going up and contacting the body of the car. It's going to have it too far down. So what we need to do is just trim this off flush. This is totally under the car. I'm just going to go straight to the lip here and make me a cut mark with my razor knife and just keep going back across it. Shouldn't take long. See? And we got it cut. I'm just going to do as least as possible and try that. See if we can get away with it. All right, and that's pretty much flat to the bottom of the car. So this right here is a little piece that I trimmed off. It's under the car. You can see it doesn't make any real difference here. Just be careful when you're cutting. And this is the rear lift point. Okay, so since these are going to be very similar, we're going to go ahead and start with the larger red ones on this side. And they just, on the front, they'll go over the jacking rail just like this, and you put a little pressure on them and get the set screws kind of drawn up. And this is the factory, you know, jack location for the vehicle. So if you wanted to use a little bit of Loctite, you could. I wouldn't recommend putting it in from the back side here and getting all the threads full of Loctite. It stays on there pretty solid. It's all the way up against the rail itself. It's all up against the plastic part here, but you want it on the bottom of the rail flush. So when you put a jack on the bottom of this, it's not going to be able to bend your rail and all. This right here gives it a nice firm spot. And I can already tell you that this red one here, these stick out quite a bit down below the car. So I think the black ones might be the way to go. Let's go ahead and install the rear one and we'll see. All right, so this is on the rear. As y'all saw in the last video, the rear has the little piece here that we have to trim on both sides. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one kind of drawn up ready. Again, we're going with the larger ones on this side of the vehicle. Get it set in place, put some pressure on it. The rear one is not as easy to get seated all the way up against this frame rail. This might be one you might want to put a jack under and get a little pressure under it before you tighten these on down. But for us, for demonstration right now, we'll just, so we can see what they look like. It's pretty much seated. Whichever one I decide to install, I'll go ahead and put a jack under it and make sure I get pressure all the way up against it. So let's go to the other side and we'll install the little shorties on the other side. So this is on the front. Front one goes in pretty easily. I'll just get it in the midpoint of the jacking rail here, or the spot for the factory location. These screws run on down. Yeah, these black ones just barely stick out from the bottom. I think these are gonna be the way to go, but we'll kind of show both of them and see. Let's go to the back. All right, so here's the ones on the back. Again, just like I've showed you previously, the spots there, these actually get a little further in there for me as far as getting up onto the rail. But you'll want to put a jack on the back ones to get some pressure down on it. They're a little bit more off than what the front ones were. All right, so here's the little slimline shorties, the black ones, and these actually work out almost perfectly. They barely stick out from under the vehicle at all. We'll get to the front here to show you. Where's it at? There it is. So they don't stick out much, but just enough to where you can get a jack on it real good and it doesn't damage the plastic and it's not going to damage your frame rail. Let's go to the other side and see what the red ones look like. Yeah, so there's the red ones. You don't even have to get close up on that. They stick out quite a bit. They're quite a bit larger as far as hanging down than the little shorties are. And I really don't like that hanging down out from underneath the car like that. Maybe you would. Let's just back up. I mean, they're sticking about 1 inch down under the car. I know it's an SUV. I'm not really worried about ground clearance. I'm just worried about, it kind of looks goofy sticking that far down out of the car. Overkill for what we're trying to do. I think I'm gonna stick with the black ones. All right, so since I'm gonna go with the shorter profile ones, and just so you have an idea, that's how much shorter the profile is on it. Pretty good difference there. So anyhow, I'm gonna go with these, and I'm gonna put some blue Loctite on these. You can do whatever you want to, but this is how, if you want to do it, this is how I'd recommend you do it. Don't put it all the way through the threads, because one day you may want to take these off for some reason, but once I put these on, I don't plan on taking them off. So what I'm gonna do is put a little blue Loctite on each one, and that's a little much, right back here. So when I turn them in, Jesus, stuff's coming out like gangbusters. Don't need that much. Just need a touch of blue Loctite. I don't know why this stuff's coming out so quick in this old. It's like super liquid. Get one of these old microfiber suedes in here to clean this one off. This is ridiculous. All that extra Loctite in here. All right. So you're not going to be able to super torque them down with this little Allen key. So what you're going to do, you get them staged to go in. So somewhere around in there is going to be where you need it at. So you can get it onto the frame rail, but you don't have to sit there and turn this little Allen key forever to get it where you need to be. And I'm sure you got the idea by now, but what else? So now I'm gonna go get the jack ready. Once I get the jack ready, so I can put pressure on these as I put them in, I'll let y'all join us back up. So what I got here is about the best camera angle that I could get. Go ahead and get some weight on this jacking pad. Then you'll go back behind it here with your Allen on the set screws and tighten the set screws down. You want to get them as tight as you can get them, but you don't want to strip out the Allen head bolt if you can help it. And just go even on both sides. Don't tighten one all the way down and then tighten the other. Just go back and forth between them. That should be plenty. Then we'll let the jack down. And that one is good to go. Set in place. It shouldn't come back down out of there. So the rear, you have to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on the front. I'm gonna get all 4 of them installed, and then we'll take a look at them. Just below the black plastic stuff, so it will protect your plastics. It will also keep your rail from getting all bent up, and you can't even really tell that they're there. So it solves a problem, multiple problems actually. So you can jack up your car without having to worry about bending up your frame rails and stuff. You can leave these things on there. When you take them to a shop, they'll see them and know where to jack them up and stuff like that also. So it solves plenty of problems. For those of you that were interested, this is what I was using before. It's magnetic, so it will stick onto your rail. You can use it on multiple different vehicles. I think this is the 3-inch mag pad that I've been using from Z01 add-ons. Like I said, I tried to reach out to the company to see if they'd work with me on this. I've seen several posts among several different groups on Facebook of people that have bent over frame rails and stuff like that. So this is a viable solution. It's a good product. These things and those other ones are fairly cheap. I think they're around 40 or 50 bucks on Amazon. They seem to be the same as what Z01 add-ons has anyway. And Z01 add-ons is like $80 or $90 for a set of them. So if you want ones that say ZL1 add-ons on it and lift point and lift here and little arrows and cool stuff like that, then you can go to their website. Like I said, they're for Camaro. I think the 10 to 14, there's a mini, and then there's the large ones like this. To me, the large ones are too big, so you just make your own kind of choices there. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Like I said, intercooler on order. I've also got some black lug nuts to get rid of those. Order some Bostons, those are back ordered as well. The intercoolers and pre-production should be towards the end of this month, beginning of next month. Before it gets here, then we'll do an install video. Do a video on how to take the front bumper and all off, and then do an install video on the intercooler itself from CF or CVF, I believe, Racing. Appreciate you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, share the video. If you think this will help somebody, share it with them. Appreciate you.